Morning everybody. It's so nice to be outside. Need your shades on because the sun's out and it's quite bright. It's so nice to walk in this field because there's no trees, so you don't get shade, so you get the nice warmth of the spring sun. So it really is lovely where you're under the shade. It's a little bit fresh, but there's no wind today, so I'm making the most of this beautiful day that we've got, having a bit of a walk and stretching my legs. And I just realized, a lot of people do know me, but a lot of people don't know me. And I just wanted to share a little bit about myself so people know where I'm coming from, because a lot of people don't understand. And we don't get to know people unless we talk to them. And at the moment, we're not able to get out and talk to people and see them. And that's how we build relationships, when we get to know people and about their lives. And all my friends know me. I love to have coffee catch-ups, and I love my friends, and my husband used to say, "Oh, you've got too many friends." I said, "You can never have enough friends." And I really believe that, because they're all different, they're all there for different reasons, and they all have different relationships, and they're all precious, and it's just an amazing. And I'm sure many of you will agree with that. So I really love my friends. So I just wanted to share a little bit about myself so people can know where my heart is, because I believe people don't see people's hearts. And people can look and think, well, who are they? How can they do that? And what are they, who do they think they are? Or they might just not know anything about you. So I just wanted to share a little bit that I was born in Coventry in the UK, 1966, the 6th of the 6th, 66. A lot of people say, oh, that's the devil's 3 6s. I says, yes, I've got 4. And Jesus is more powerful, so you better watch out. And I was born there, had a very good upbringing, just had all that we needed, didn't really have more than enough, but just enough. And then I left school here. We leave school at 16. I wasn't very good at school. I'm sure I had ADHD, HDH, but it was never obviously diagnosed then. Left school, always had a job, worked at 11, 12, had a paper round, worked in the paper shop, worked in Marilyn, the hairdressers, and worked at Coventry Racket Sports Centre. I changed to Grand Prix Racket Centre. I changed over the years, so I worked there. So I had a lot of different jobs, and then at 18 I wanted to go and work overseas, so I left to go work overseas. I went over there for I think it was about 6-8 months. When did we go? We left about, can't even remember exactly when we left the March, and we came back in the September when the season closed. So we went over there for 6 months, came back, got a daytime job in reception, got a nighttime job in the bar, used to do bar work. Then I'd work at Tamangos and Park Lane nightclubs, so I could still go out and see people, but I'd be working, making money to save up to go away again. Then I went to work in Tenerife for 1.5 years. I met my first husband there, went back to South Africa, went back to England first. He tried it, didn't like England, went to South Africa. I didn't like it there, but I had to make the most of it, and it was really very challenging for me, but I stuck in there. I used to have Bowman bulls walking around the garden, chasing the cows out with a fly swatter. I was very lonely, I knew nobody. Then I met one friend, Janet, and then I knew of God, but I didn't have a relationship with him. Growing up, we went to Sunday school, and me and my sister would sing, joy is the flag flying high in the castle of my heart, and we'd sing on the bus, and we'd have our sing song, but never really had a relationship with the Lord. But we used to go to Sunday school every Sunday, and it was really an amazing time. Used to love the praise and worship. And over the years, going there in South Africa, it was very difficult. And obviously then my first husband, he had an affair, so I said I'm going to leave him. I wasn't interested in listening. I didn't know the Lord that well then, so I just thought that's what you do. And the Bible does say that you're able to divorce if your husband some partner has an affair, so that's what I believed. Anyway, to cut a very long story short, I made many mistakes in my life. I met my second husband, Anthony. I wasn't interested in getting married again, didn't want to get married, wasn't really interested. I thought, it's marriage, you've got to stay together, and obviously they're not easy, so I wasn't really interested. And I didn't know God's word. I knew of God, but I didn't know his word properly. Anyway, as I started learning God's word, it was just so amazing. Me and Anthony got closer together. We started learning together. It says don't be unevenly yoked. It really was amazing. Then I said to Anthony, I want to do the marriage course. He said, there's nothing wrong with our marriage. I said, well, then why not do it? He said, well, okay, then can't lose anything. It won't harm. So we did it. He said, wow, Deb, I can't believe how much I'm learning. And we learned about the prayer of agreement. And we started walking God's way. But then my husband shot himself. He had a drug problem, which is a whole other new story, too long to share now. But it was actually terrible. I had years of trying to help him, and it was a challenge. It really was a challenge, but I also believed he'd been totally set free. Anyway, he shot himself. It was terrible, absolutely terrible. So then I had 4 children, 4 children now that I've got to look after, and I didn't have, by any means, have any financial means. In South Africa, you have to pay for everything yourself. You don't have anyone to help you. You pay for school fees, you pay for food, you pay for medical aid. You just have to pay for everything. So if you haven't got, then tough, you're on the street. So it was really difficult. So I didn't know what to do, but I just trusted in God, and I threw myself into the Lord. I really did, and I'm so glad I did. This morning I was thinking, wow, Lord, what way would I have turned if I never came at that time to meet you and really throw myself into your word and learn more, as me and Anthony have been starting to do together. Anyway, I threw myself into the Lord, and I had 4 children. Now I had to trust to the Lord to look after Sarah, which is Anthony's daughter. She became my daughter. Her mother passed away at 11 years of age. She was 11 years of age when she passed away. I had her, they're my 3 children. And you know what, I just really threw myself and had total faith and just trusted, and God came through for me. And the more I learned and the more I trusted and the more I didn't know what to do, the more I just handed everything over to the Lord, and he really came through. And I've messed up. I don't even want to, I could probably write a couple of books how many times I've messed up and the things I've got wrong. But you know what, God is just so amazing. He leads us on the right path. He says he disciplines those he loves, and we don't always want discipline, but when somebody loves us, he disciplines us. Anyway, then I was trusted in the Lord every single without really having any great qualifications. I've never been out of work, and I really believe that that's by God's grace, love and mercy for that, because I think, wow, Lord, how you've just opened the doors, which I've shared a few times on this YouTube. All the doors God has opened, it's been amazing. Anyway, open doors that it wasn't possible for any man. He just always made a way. And then coming to England, I trusted in him 3 years ago. I trusted in him. He was giving me a word, a rhema word, and I got out of the boat and I walked on water, thinking I was coming to England for about 6 months, and I'm still here. 3 years, nearly coming up to 3 years later. In a couple of weeks, it'll be 3 years. I was busy this time 3 years ago having catch-ups with all my friends. I always said, I want to have a funeral party. I want to see people while I'm alive and catch up with them, and not to have it when they die saying they like you or bring you flowers. I like to see them now. So I had 2 weeks of coffee catch up every day, 3 or 4 of my friends every single day. It was such a busy time, but it was amazing. And my friend said, wow, you've had all your eulogies the last 3 weeks. I said, you're right, I did, didn't I? It was just amazing. And then I came here not knowing what to expect, and it wasn't easy. But you know what? God brought me to this place. I thought I'd be traveling around the UK. I'll be in different places. Bought 1 suitcase. I think now I've got about 4, because every time I go back, I get more clothes, and it's winter and summer. And 3 years, I'm still here. And you know why I think I'm still here? Not because of anything I've done, because if I led to the flesh, I would have gone. Trusting in God and having faith that he knew better than what I did, and his ways were far higher. I still don't know how long I'll be here. But you know what, look at this beautiful field that God has given me to walk around. In lockdown, we had this field, a beautiful house in the countryside. And yes, it's been challenging. Sometimes it's been challenging, but God. And I just wanted to share a little bit about that. Even though it hasn't been easy, over the years I've just trusted in God, and I'm reading about great men and women of faith. I think, wow, Lord, I can understand that. I said, Lord, I want to have ridiculous faith. People are going to say the faith I have is ridiculous, because I want it to be ridiculous, because I believe God can do more than we can possibly imagine. And I'm walking by total faith and not by sight in what he can do. So I just wanted to share a little bit about myself for those who don't know me. And faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And I wouldn't be here if it wasn't trusting in God. And just what he's done over the last 3 years is another book. It's just amazing. A real good chapter of my life, that he's just brought me to this place, and what he's done, I just go, wow. I look every day, I go, wow, Lord, wow, what an amazing God. And it's only possible through believing and trusting. Hasn't been easy. There's been a lot of challenges. Hasn't been easy at all, but God. Have a wonderful day, everybody. God bless.